Hello, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk and for unboxings.com. Here I have the Sony Walkman. This model is the NWZ-A845. Very catchy name there, as you can tell. Going to do a quick unboxing video for you, take a look at the device, and then we'll actually go away and do our full review. So, having a look inside, kind of two portions there. So let's take a look at the top half first of all. So we have the Walkman itself, which has just powered on, but we'll come back to that in just a second. Then we have some headphones, and these look like pretty decent headphones. They're very similar to ones that I've used in the past, where we have an extremely large sort of driver unit there on the outside, and then actual in-ear style headphones. So they are supplied. They look pretty decent, so comment on those when we come to do the full review anyway. But quite unusually, these headphones do actually have a 5-pole 3.5mm jack, as you can see there. I've seen 4 poles before, but this is actually 5. I think that's to do with the built-in noise cancellation that is actually part of the software and everything else that's actually on the Walkman. So we'll take a look at that, and again comment on that when we come to do the full review. Take a look at what else is in the pack. And well, looks like we've got a fair few accessories in here. So first of all, this is what looks like an airline adapter in actual fact for your headphones, which is kind of interesting. Comment on that again when we come to do the full review. Check it out. Precautions about the display, how to set up, European guarantee information, product registration, quick start guide, but in looks like Italian, quick start in Spanish possibly. Don't recognise that language. German probably, and French, and there we go, in English. So we've got a quick start guide, and it does look pretty quick because it's there's not an awful lot of reading to do there. Also we have a little dock adapter, so you can use it with Sony speaker docks. We have the USB sync charge cable. So it's a standard USB on one end, and then this sort of proprietary style connector on the other. They're specific to Sony Walkman devices, but that obviously isn't supplied. Then we have different earbuds for the headphones supplied, and then finally another cable, which looks to be some sort of audio cable. And I'm guessing that this is well, it's got the proprietary style connector on one end, which plugs into the bottom of the Walkman, and then a 2-pole or 3-pole 3.5mm jack on the other. I'm assuming that this is used to plug this into your external speakers that aren't on, or don't have a dock or anything like that, so you can actually use your own sort of loudspeakers. So let's take a look around the Walkman then itself. It's pretty slim, very light, and I quite like the style and the design. Quite a fan of what Sony do with designs and everything else. They always, in my opinion, do look pretty smart, and this one is no exception. We have a 2.8-inch display on the front, which is 240 by 400 pixels, and it is an OLED display. Underneath that we have a series of buttons, so the home button, back button, power button and an option button, and then a D-pad in the centre, up, down, left, right, and play pause in the centre. Pretty standard sort of media control sort of interface, if you like, or buttons there. On the left hand side there's nothing to see whatsoever. As you can see, it's extremely thin. The dimensions are 104mm from top to bottom, 47mm wide, and just 7.2mm thick. It's amazing in actual fact. And I have to say, if I could get a phone like this, I think I'd be all over it. It's really, really nice. On the right hand side, you do have a hold switch, which is sort of just a switch like that, so it just disables all the buttons. Up and down volume control. Really, that's it. Nothing on the top end. On the bottom, well, we have an eyelet there that we can connect up like a charm or a lanyard or anything like that, so you could kind of wear it around your neck if you wanted to. 3.5mm headphone socket also on the bottom, and then that proprietary style connector, which is, you know, plug in the USB sync charge cable and the dock, and also that audio cable that we saw there. That's as I say, suspect that's for plugging into external audio equipment. Nothing to see at all on the back. Well, with the exception of a little reset button, which you would be able to do with a pencil or a pin or something like that, should you feel the need. But the rest of the back is pretty clean, pretty tidy, nothing really much to see. Quick have a look at the user interface, and well, it's pretty standard. So we've got an FM radio there in the middle, which we can obviously go through the tuning and go back. And then we have noise cancelling, so we can set up the settings for noise cancelling on and off, and noise cancelling modes. Noise cancelling currently unavailable. Well, that's probably because we don't have headphones plugged in. We then have video playback screen. And we do actually have a video on there. Obviously the screen is pretty shiny and reflective, as you can see there. I am recording this video in a rather bright conditions, so you can really see the device quite clearly, but obviously it does lead to things being a bit shiny and reflective, but it gives you probably a real world indication of what it would be like to actually use this Walkman. But as you can see, playback is pretty smooth, and well, don't know if you can pick it up terribly well on the video, but the screen is really nice actually. The colours are pretty rich. The greens there of obviously the grass, and the reds of the players and everything else do stand out rather well, and it's pretty smooth. Playback is pretty smooth indeed, and there's no blurring or motion blur or anything like that, so it's pretty decent. I'll skip back out of there, go back to home. We've got photos. See if we've got anything on here. No photos on here by the looks of it. Oh, maybe we do, so let's pop into one of these photos. And you've got a pretty standard photo player there, so you can actually browse through media. And again, well, obviously they've chosen photos here that do sort of show off the screen quite well. They've been chosen very carefully, I would say, and probably the actual colour range and the contrast and everything else has been popped to make them actually look good. But, well, they really do look good. They look fantastic on this display actually, and if that's coming across in the video at all, well, then that's obviously a good thing. So let's come back out of here, and we have our music. So let's have a look at all songs. They are arranged by song title there, and you can skip through, as you can see. Pretty standard, the way that you'd expect most video and media players to work, to be honest. Videos we've already seen. Podcasts there, no podcasts available. Settings menu, and you've got music settings and your radio settings, noise cancelling settings, common stuff, everything else back there like that. And song playback screen. And you've got album art there, it tells you what the track is and everything else, and that is actually playing. Obviously there's no loudspeaker, so we can't actually hear what's happening, but it's pretty straightforward. But as I say, the display is pretty decent actually. I'm quite impressed with the display on that, considering, well, it's what, 240 by 400 pixels, not the highest of res, but OLED is a pretty good display technology. Quickly run down the rest of the spec. Well, this is a 16 gig model. There are other models available. I think there's an 8 and a 32 gig model available. So it's pretty light, only 62 grams, and it's pretty impressive what I've seen so far of the device. FM radios we've seen. TV out with a cable, which plugs in the bottom. You actually have to buy that. That is an optional extra, if you like. 29-hour audio playback according to the specification that we've read here, which again, pretty decent. I mean, it's a lightweight device, so battery's not going to be terribly large. To get 29 hours out of it, that's pretty impressive. Supports MP3, ASF, MP4, pretty much most of the video standards that you would come, and well, in fact, audio standards that you come to expect. And as I say, it does have digital noise cancelling as an option too. So I don't know if you have to have specific headphones like we have here, which would possibly seem to be the case with that 5-pole headphone jack, or if you can use any old headphones. But again, we'll talk about that in a bit more detail when it comes to do the full review. Review will be up on site over the next couple of weeks on tracyandmatt.co.uk, and in the meantime, don't forget to follow us on Twitter. On Twitter we are Tracy and Matt. We'll be back soon with more videos and reviews on tracyandmatt.co.uk.